Top of it, top of it, top of it. It's your boy, Coach One Stack, man. We tapped in, y'all. Man, I hope you guys are having a good day. And thanks, guys, for supporting the channel. All that good stuff. Thanks for interacting, man. I even interact with the trolls. You got to have thin skin when you get on this camera, man. And it really takes a lot to get on here to report to you guys some good game. Now, this video will be coming. Now, I've made videos about this in the last few weeks, when Johnathon has came out and filed a civil suit against Diddy for some things, but now Johnathon has now filed criminal charges against P. Diddy for SA. You know what SA is. Okay, so now before we get into that video, guys, hey man, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, and just sit back and chill, because you know I'm gonna do a little talking and I got something to show you guys from TMZ. Now, I like to get straight to it, man. A few weeks ago, Johnathon filed a civil lawsuit against Diddy, claiming first off that Christopher Wallace lured him to California to do a memorial for his father, of such. And then they ended up at this warehouse where a lot of Biggie Smalls clothes that he wore were being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they had a warehouse where they were giving a bunch of the clothes that Notorious Big wore. CJ, they call him CJ, Christopher Wallace Junior, CJ's dad's clothes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, Johnathon, who used to be Rihanna's publicist and also, is a producer and made some music, been around the industry for a while, totally admits, man, that he used drugs from time to time. Even that Diddy dropped off some a big pile of ketamine to him and Christopher Wallace Jr. at the studio and told him, hey man, have fun and make some music. So the thing is, Christopher Wallace has already been turned out by Diddy, but Johnathon didn't know this. So as Johnathon is at this warehouse trying on some of Notorious Big's clothes that are getting donated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, P. Diddy comes along, right? And as he looks around, P. Diddy has one of Notorious Big's shirts, sort of like a shirt. And underneath his shirt, he's touching himself. He's pleasuring himself while he's watching some graphic movies on his cell phone. He's pleasuring himself under one of Notorious Big's shirts, right in front of Johnathon. So now I made a video about this. You guys can go back and watch it, and you can get on Real Life Productions and see the entire video. So now Johnathon says that Diddy at this point told him, hey, can you come finish me off? And he's looking like, what do you mean finish me off, man? Can you come finish me off? And at that time, Diddy finished himself off inside of one of Notorious Big's shirts that was getting inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and walked past Johnathon and threw it on his shoulder and started laughing and said, rest in peace, Big. Now, because Johnathon and CJ had such a good relationship, Johnathon didn't want to tell CJ this information until after his father was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. After Notorious Big was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that's when Johnathon dropped this news on CJ, and CJ was livid. And so they scrapped the project that they were doing. They were doing like an album, in memory of his dad. So they scrapped the project. Johnathon goes on about his way. Well, a couple months later, CJ contacts Johnathon and apologizes for everything that was going on. He apologizes and says, hey, could you come out to Cali? We want to go do a photo shoot, and we want to make some music. Fine. Johnathon takes the flight. He gets picked up by CJ and CJ's boyfriend named Willie, and they're taken to this house. He's taken to this white house that's owned by Revolt. Now, Johnathon claims that when he got inside of this house, now remember, this is just when it was just civil. He had not filed criminal charges yet, because he's just now filed criminal charges in the last few days about what I'm telling you guys right now, okay? So when they get to this house that's owned by Revolt, people are they're acting a little bit different. Like everybody, like everybody knows something going on but Johnathon. So you need to go look on Real Life Productions and see who Johnathon is. You can see the video for yourself. Like I said, shout out to Real Life Productions. So as he gets in the house, Jonathan Hay says that he sees Faith Evans' other son, and he didn't really have much to say to him. Like, the mood was off. You could tell when something is off, and everybody knows something but you. And Jonathan Hay claims that this time, 2 of Diddy bodyguards came out of the room and came towards him and put like a little mask over his face, right? So he could not see where he was going, but he said he could kind of see the floor as they were walking him to a room. So Jonathan Hay claims that they walked him to this room, right? And he saw like an ottoman, and they like kind of pushed him down, and he sat on the ottoman, chilling. So he said a few minutes later, he hears like these feet coming in, and like he said, he could kind of see under the rag, and he said it was Diddy. And Diddy was real mad at him. He was complaining, and he was telling him, you don't even effing deserve to be a part of this project. You don't even effing deserve, this clout that you getting from Notorious Big. And at this time, Jonathan Hay claims that P. Diddy pulled out his eggplant and grabbed Jonathan Hay by the back of the head and forcefully put it inside of his mouth. And so I'm trying to get this straight so I don't get no strike on YouTube. So Jonathan Hay claims that when P. Diddy's eggplant was inside of his mouth, he said Jonathan Hay said he grabbed him from the back of the head and just kept pushing his head and really degrading him in a way until he got off. Guys, where we come from, that's called sexual assault, people, all the way around the board. And if you don't know what sexual assault is, that is when you enter inside of anybody's body, any part of their body. So if you get your little kicks off by taking your finger unlawfully and sticking it inside of somebody's ear for the purpose of your sexual gratification, that's sexual assault. If you take your finger and you're running in and out of somebody's nose for the fact of your sexual gratification against their will, that is sexual assault. It doesn't have to be the traditional type intercourse that you're used to. That is the sexual assault, like sexual assault byline, and that's the rules. You guys gotta go look it up. So here's what happened. So here's what's going on right now. Jonathan Hay has now filed a criminal lawsuit against Diddy, and I told you on my channel first that he would have another criminal lawsuit before the end of the year. Okay, guys. Last year, and you know what? Shout out to my daughter, man. It's her birthday. Happy birthday, baby. My baby's 29 years old today. Shout out to my baby, man. I should have did that in the beginning. But guys, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and make sure you share this video. So now Jonathan Hay has filed a criminal lawsuit, right, in the state of California for SA against Diddy. So now this means more charges are going to be coming about. Now, in the indictment, it first lists him as a John Doe, and then it says his name and the acts that he performed. And if anybody have watched my other videos and have been keeping up with this stuff, Jonathan Hay had a civil suit. In the civil court, the burden of proof is not as heavy to win civilly. This is why a lot of people go in there civilly, because you can get money. Basically, you can get money easily in the civil court. But in this criminal trial, these are criminal charges that have been brought against him. And these will be federal charges because they flew Jonathan Hay out from another state to California to do this supposed photo shoot, at which time Christopher Wallace Junior picked him up from the airport and took him to this house owned by Revolt. And what happened, these things happened to him, just like I told you. I don't want to repeat it and get myself in trouble. So that makes it federal, guys. So Diddy will now be facing some more criminal charges, which will do what? End up giving him either more time in that federal penitentiary or another federal penitentiary. Because, hey, you're innocent until proven guilty, but if you watch Jonathan Hay's video, you can see it in his face that he's not lying. Like, he's way too descriptive, way too detailed. The man has his own money. He ain't got no reason to make this up. And as I keep telling you, a man is not going to accuse another man of doing something if it's not the case. Men just don't do that to other men. It makes them look bad. It makes them look weak. It messes with their character. It messes with their mental. But guys, let me show you what TMZ had to say about it. Let's go.
The criminal case, but there's a new one. Yes, but now he is facing He had already been facing a civil lawsuit of what we're about to tell you, but now there is an actual criminal investigation into what a music producer says happened in LA in 2020. And it involves a sex act that, according to this producer, was performed with a t-shirt, and that basically Diddy asked him to help him with this sex act. I know this sounds, it's weird. I can't say what happened.
He says he was invited to participate in this sex act. It was underneath a t-shirt. He says he ignored the request to participate with Diddy in the sex act. Diddy then finished and completed the sex act and took the t-shirt and threw it at him. Right. And that's the allegation of the sort of sexual battery that is at hand here. This is a music producer who you may have heard of from a civil suit that also mentioned Diddy and Biggie's son, CJ. So they're embroiled in this lawsuit because in 2021, the alleged sexual assault incident was 2020. In 2021, he says CJ, Biggie's son, lured him to Santa Monica, where he was then assaulted physically and called a snitch by Diddy.
But that's not the basis of the criminal investigation.
No, the criminal investigation that the LA Sheriff's Department is looking into is the incident with the t-shirt.
Now, was that part of... Because there was some interaction between the two, according to the lawsuit. So was this part of a freak-off? Was there something going on otherwise?
According to CJ, and that's where the most details of this lawsuit is, that this is a music producer slash publicist who wanted to get some music off the ground and was working with artists, and they decided not to go forward with his music, and they say this is an embittered person who has now made these false allegations about sexual assault and so forth.
Right, but I'm saying, what is his allegation? Is he saying that there was some...
There was a photo shoot is what he says. He was invited to a photo shoot, and when he got there, Diddy was masturbating under this t-shirt and then committed the act. So that's the allegation.
And what's new here is that he's now gone to police. He filed this lawsuit back in July, I believe it was.
Oh, that's right.
When he filed the civil lawsuit. He's now gone to police and filed, because he had not before the lawsuit, has filed this police report. And that's launched this investigation.
If you file a police report, it will trigger an investigation. They have to look into these things. It doesn't give it more veracity or anything like that. It's just that they have made this allegation, and the deputies have to investigate it. Now, Diddy's team has said this is categorically false. This is defamatory. We'll vindicate him in court, as we did in our other criminal trial and so forth. But
now, see, that's what I'm talking about, guys. As you know, your Coach One Stack information is dead on. TMZ don't make up no lies. But if you look through my videos, I have videos of Johnathon Hay when he filed his civil lawsuit. I have videos of it. People have been watching those videos, and I explain what these sex acts were in detail. So when they're saying this stuff, what he was doing under his shirt, he was pleasuring himself under one of Biggie's shirts as he was watching graphic movies on his phone. He was pleasuring himself under his shirt. He asked Johnathon Hay, hey man, can you come finish me off? And Johnathon Hay, he didn't want to do it. And then Diddy finished himself off, took the shirt and threw it on Johnathon Hay's shoulder and said, rest in peace, Big. Now, Johnathon Hay still has that shirt, which you don't even know if he has. If he still has that shirt, Diddy's ass is cooked. Now, the next act that they're talking about is when, what I just told you, he was lured to California, right, and taken to a house that was owned by Revolt, and Diddy came in calling him a snitch and all of these things because Johnathon Hay told CJ what Diddy had done to him, and it stopped that initial project. And this is when Johnathon Hay says that Diddy shoved his eggplant inside of his and grabbed him by the back of the head and kept shoving it and shoving it and shoving it and degraded him until he finished himself off. And if you go watch Johnathon Hay's video, you're gonna look in his eye and know that this man is not telling no lie. But other than that, guys, man, you know I don't like to keep you too long, man. You know I don't like to keep you guys. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video and share this thing. And put in the comments, man, how many more times do you think Diddy is going to get a criminal lawsuit before this is over? He has many civil lawsuits, but put in the comments how many more criminal lawsuits do you think that are coming? Because you notice these lawsuits are from men, and that does carry a lot of weight in court because men don't talk about other men, S.A.ing them, unless that stuff has happened. Leave it in the comments, guys. Talk to me, I'll talk back. But other than that, guys, you know the rest. Hey, man, be blessed. Don't ever get stressed. Make sure you never get finessed and get plenty of rest. And stay out of trouble like Diddy should have.